Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, 5:01 p.m. We'll go ahead and call this board meeting to order. We are here for our regularly scheduled board meeting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Before we continue, I do just want to share that we do have language support tonight. Below, we have languages available are Spanish, Burmese, Karen, Nepali, and Swahili. So if anyone needs any language support in any of those languages, please raise your hand. We do have interpreters available for you tonight. Again, for those needing Spanish, Burmese, Karen, Nepali, and Swahili, we do have interpreters available for you tonight. Hoy tenemos intérpretes disponibles para los que necesitan intérprete en esta noche en español y en otros idiomas. Again, those languages are Spanish, Burmese, Karen, Nepali, and Swahili. Please raise your hand if you do need language support. Thank you to our multilingual education and services who provide language support for our board meetings and for the district. We appreciate all of our interpreters and all of our staff who provide these services. Again, welcome. Thank you for joining us, board colleagues. Good to see you all. Happy 2024 in person. I know last time we were virtual. Dr. Stubblefield, to all of our staff, great to see you all. And to all of our invited guests, great to have you here tonight for our board meeting. We do at every board meeting. We'll read our board norms and protocols. We agree to respect differences of opinions in making decisions for the district, to follow best practices in managing the superintendent and the management of the board itself, to stay on task when conducting business for the district, including while at board meetings, to never surprise the superintendent or each other when conducting official business of the district, to read these norms at the beginning of each board meeting and at board workshops as a reminder of how to conduct our meetings, and to continually self-check to determine if we're following our norms when conducting district business. Again, welcome. And with that, Ms. Smith, would you please do a roll call?
Yolanda Clark.
Yolanda Clark, present.
Maxine Drew.
Maxine Drew, present.
Randy Lopez.
Randy Lopez, present.
Robert Mylan Jr.
Robert Mylan Jr. present.
Wanda Brownlee Page.
Wanda Brownlee Page, present.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, present.
Dr. Nguyen. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, we do have language support tonight for anyone needing an interpreter for Spanish, Burmese, Karen, Nepali, and Swahili. But board, the next up is to approve tonight's agenda. I do just want to point out one item, board. You'll see under item number 10, executive sessions, we've added, if it is the will of the board, added an executive session for attorney-client privilege. And you should have received an email with some information regarding that, but that is my ask of the board tonight. So would entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark.
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew.
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez.
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page.
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. First on our agenda is a fun time of our board meetings. We get to celebrate and recognize students and staff and families for some of the great things that we're doing in the district. So first up, we have our student artwork for our holiday card, and I will pass it on to Dr. Stubblefield.
Oh, thank you. I believe Mr. Graber is coming forward to recognize the student each year, and it's been a tradition here in Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools long before me. The art director of fine arts and physical education submits student artwork, and then we pick one to send out to wish everybody some holiday cheer. And this year, the student is from Washington High School, so Mr. Graber is going to tell us a little about the student.
Yes. So I'd like to introduce you to the student artist who made our holiday district card. They're not here. They're not here. But it's Azrael Pena. He's a sophomore from Washington High School. And just a little bit about him. Such a talented student. I had him last year as a freshman. I thought he had to be a senior or at least a junior, just because of the thoughtfulness and quality of his work. This piece that he did, that got chosen, is a nice colored pencil piece. Second thing he's done in colored pencil. So, yeah, I'm really going to make him sit down and watch this recognition too. Is what I'm going to do. But I just want to say I'm really excited to see what he can do next, and thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graber, and congratulations to our student. It was a great card. Our next agenda item, we will have fall activities and all-state recognition. So it's a great time to celebrate. We'll invite our Director of Athletics, Mr. Simmons, to come up and share some celebrations with us.
Good evening, Board President Lopez, Vice President Drew, board members, Superintendent Dr. Stubblefield, staff, and community. I have the pleasure of acknowledging the amazing individual and team all-state accomplishments of some of our scholars that participated in various fall activities. With us today are scholars who were selected and voted to their respective sports all-state team, as well as scholars who placed at their respective state competition. We do have several scholars who could not make it today, whether they're prior engagements or participating in other activities, but we'll go ahead and acknowledge those who could be with us today. And we will start off with our Schlegel Stallions for a honorable mention athletes, junior defensive lineman, Savion Ross. We also have sophomore D lineman, Bernage Price. The Stallions are coached by head coach Cernan Macon. Filling in for our senior Harmon Hawk 5A honorable mention, Julian Juju the Wall Bush, is head coach Keith O'Neill.
Yeah.
We also had some of our Sumner Academy soccer team that were acknowledged with all-state recognition for 5A, first team, junior forward, Darian Gates.
Yeah.
Second team, sophomore midfielder, Christian Gomez Rodriguez. And senior midfielder, Axel Chavarria Contreras. Sumner Sabres soccer team is coached by John Borger. We also have members of our Sumner Academy 5A All-State Honorable Mention football team. Could not be with us today as senior Jaden Gordon, but we do have senior Nikki Flores here. Sumner Academy football is coached by Andrew Wright. Rounding out our All-State Honorable Mention for Washington High School, the Wildcats, we have 3 members. With us today is senior wide receiver DB Xavier Powell. We have 2 members who could not be with us today because of basketball, Jaquari Williams and Savion Stone. The Washington Wildcats are coached by head coach Cameron Smith. Last but not least, and backed by popular demand, we have our Sumner Academy 4-speaker debate team, which had to bear the elements of traveling to Olathe North a couple of weeks ago in the ice, but they made it a delayed tournament. They competed, and they took second place overall.
Yeah.
Those members are senior Benik Adink, senior Isaac Linez, senior Riley Verdict, junior Kaylee Ann Milborn, and last but not least, Coach Jamel Brown.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all our scholars for their amazing accomplishments.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Congratulations to all of our scholars, all of our students, and to your coaches, to your staff, to your families for continuing to support you. That's always a fun time to celebrate all of you. Thank you for joining us. Next up, we'll invite Dr. April Sutherland and Dr. Jermaine Wilson to the podium as we celebrate our Employees of the Month and our Students of the Month as well. Just a reminder for folks that we will take a quick recess after everyone is acknowledged and take photos with those individuals with the board as well. So bear with us, don't leave, but we'll get through this. Good evening, Dr. Sutherland. Thanks for joining us.
Dr. Lopez, Mr. Lopez, Board President, Maxine Drew, Board Vice President, Dr. Stubblefield, Board, and all who serve Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am so delighted tonight to get a special recognition tonight. And this special recognition was given on October the 6th, 2023, the State Board of Education provided a commendation to Superintendent Dr. Anna Stubblefield. And this is some of what the letter said. It said, "Dear Anna, the Kansas State Department of Education, KSDE, and the Kansas State Board of Education extends congratulations to Kansas City USD 500 for achieving recognition in the 2023 Kansas Can Start Recognition Program. We recognize the exceptional work your district is doing to reach the state's vision for education. Kansas leads the world in the success of each student. The Kansas Can Star Recognition Program recognizes district success in the outcome measures Kansas told us they value, and it is clear that Kansas City and other Kansas districts like yours are moving us closer to achieving the state's vision. KSDE and the State Board are pleased to present Kansas City the following recognition for 2023, the Social Emotional Growth Bronze.
Yeah.
This is the second year in a row that USD 500 has been recognized, and we are excited to have moved from copper to bronze. We are honored to recognize the following USD 500 staff members for their hard work and leadership in helping us accomplish this important outcome goal. As I call your name, please come to the front. Tracy Chauvin, Director of Student Support Programs.
Yeah.
LaDerek Collins, Assistant Director of Student Support
Yeah.
Programs. Angela Dunn, Coordinator of Behavioral Health.
Yeah.
Emily Garvey, Counselor for Gloria Willis Middle School and Middle School Lead Counselor. Scott Haynes, Counselor for Silver City Elementary and Elementary School Lead Counselor. Travis Helm, Principal of Rosedale Middle School.
Yeah.
Naomi Tolentino, Coordinator of Attend to Achieve.
Yeah.
And Dr. Jermaine Wilson, Executive Director of Student Services and Family Support. Let's give them all a congratulations. Thank you, thank you. Let's give it to them as they walk out. All right, thank you. I also have the honor to introduce our January Employee of the Month. And if I didn't say it earlier, I am April Sutherland. All right. All right. Our Employee of the Month was nominated by her principal, Dustin Wiley. She is a 5th grade teacher at Lindbergh Elementary. If we could please welcome Samantha Ponce up to the front. And this is why we have Samantha here this month. Samantha consistently goes above and beyond to support the students at Lindbergh Elementary School. Her dedication to fostering a positive learning environment is evident in her day-to-day interactions with students, colleagues, and parents. She actively engages in professional development opportunities, staying abreast of the latest educational trends, and incorporating innovative teaching strategies into her 5th grade curriculum. Samantha has taken on leadership roles with the school, contributing committees focused on curriculum development and student support. Her collaborative spirit and willingness to share her expertise have enhanced the overall educational experience for both students and fellow educators. Her commitment extends beyond the school walls, demonstrating a profound dedication to the well-being of our community. She consistently participates in after-school events, invaluable support to extracurricular activities, and fostering a sense of community among students and their families. Her presence at these events goes beyond the call of duty, showcasing her genuine passion for creating a holistic educational experience. In addition to her involvement in school-based activities, she willingly volunteers her time and skills for community initiatives. Her efforts have not only strengthened the bond between the school and the local community, but also contribute to the overall betterment of the neighborhoods we serve. In conclusion, Samantha's record of professional and community service is truly commendable. Her tireless dedication to the well-being and success of our students, both inside and outside the school, reflects the values and goals we achieve at Lindbergh Elementary School. So she is our January Employee of the Month. Better every day. Congratulations, Samantha. I will now turn it over to Dr. Wilson.
Good evening, President Lopez, Vice President Drew, Superintendent Dr. Anna Stubblefield, members of the board, and community. I am delighted tonight to present some outstanding students to you for a special recognition, as well as our Student of the Month candidates. These exceptional students you hear about tonight exemplify dedication, leadership, and academic excellence. Their achievements, both in and out of the classroom, reflect not only their individual commitment, but also the contribution to the positive and inspiring learning environment within our community. Without further ado, we're going to start with a special recognition for some staff members and our 5th grade students at T.A. Edison. I would like to bring before you Megan Sturgis Stanfield, President of Junior Achievement of Greater Kansas City.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. It's my honor and pleasure to celebrate the entire 5th grade class at T.A. Edison Elementary tonight. So if Gracie and her teachers will join us up front. Junior Achievement of Greater Kansas City hosts an event every year where we celebrate and induct entrepreneurial leaders into a Hall of Fame. This year, we had an opportunity, piggybacking on the 5th grade students who attended J.A. Biztown, to come and share their experiences and inquire about future careers and opportunities across the region. Gracie, who served as J.A. Biztown student mayor for the day in October, was one of our keynote speakers at the event. She and her peers had an opportunity to help induct entrepreneurs on stage, but also had an opportunity to chat with their professionals across the community at lunch and get some really good advice about how to navigate the next steps of their future. I don't know who had more fun, the students or the adult professionals who were in the room. I will tell you, though, that the feedback was incredible, and all of the attendees at the event shared how special and bright the future looks, led by the fifth graders from TA Edison. So celebrate them. The future is very bright. We're grateful that they were able to join us.
All right. Now presenting to you our January Early Childhood Student of the Month, Bowie Leon. Bowie is an early childhood scholar at Bethel Early Childhood Center. He's nominated by his teacher, Letitia Battles, under the pillar of positive behavior. She states, Bowie is a role model, a mentor, and class leader. He comes alongside students when they don't understand or are not making good choices. For example, we have a student who struggles during dismissal. Bowie always gets his backpack for him and helps him during the dismissal process. He's always ready to help. During group time, he's very focused, listens, and participates. He is a great example of what to do in the classroom at all times. He's an outstanding student. We are very proud of Bowie and know he has a successful future ahead. Now, he's very quiet, but when he is not in school, he is a monster on the soccer field. Congratulations, Bowie. Our next student of the month hails from Noble Prentice Elementary School, Gustavo Juarez Human. Gustavo is a second grade student at Noble Prentice Elementary School and is being nominated under the pillar of academics by teacher Brittany Barker. She writes, Gustavo has been a pleasure to have in my class. He's one of the hardest working students I've ever had. He's reading well above grade level and has passed all 15 skill levels and 95% as a second grader. He also demonstrates exemplary performance in math. A great thing about Gustavo is he not only performs well on an academic level, but he is also an excellent example of what KCK wants to see from all of our students. He will go out of his way to help classmates learn their letter sounds. He works daily with the student in the class, helping them to learn English as well as academic content. He is a wonderful peer support for other students and never complains. He is an overall amazing student and friend. His favorite part at Noble Prentice, besides Principal Gavel, is he likes to go to recess because he gets to spend time with his friends. He loves to play soccer, and when he's not in school, he is a winner and a champion at Mario Kart. Congratulations, Gustavo. Our next student of the month is Brandon Kinsey, a fourth grade student at Hazel Grove Elementary School, is being nominated today under the pillar of academics by teacher Amy Fleeman. She says Brandon is a hardworking student. He has the best manners, is very responsible, and when he's gone from school or class or anything, he always asks for everything that he misses. When he knows that he's going to be gone, he's proactive and he asks for the work ahead. He is always diligent in completing the work and returning it on time. Although schoolwork always doesn't come easy for him, he is so hardworking and diligent in asking questions that he masters it and demonstrates a high level of persistence and dedication. He works hard and he is truly a model, getting better every day. He has a joy for learning new things, and that makes my job so much fun. He is one of the hardest working students that I've had, and he deserves recognition for all of his efforts. His positive attitude towards school and his perseverance are amazing. I asked him if he was giving advice to other students that wanted to be students of the month, what would he say? Do good in school, believe in yourself, and stay on task. And when he is not at school, he's a champion in basketball.
Okay.
He doesn't know what he wants to be when he grows up, but he knows his college has to have a good basketball team. Congratulations, Brandon. Representing our middle schools, our January Middle School Student of the Month is Dim Leon. Dim is a 6th grade student at Arrowhead Middle School. Dim was nominated by a team of teachers led by teacher Brenda Chabot under the pillar of positive behavior. They said Dim came into 6th grade like a gentle snowstorm that starts quietly, but a day later you realize it snowed 2 feet and turned the mundane winter days into a fantastical snowscape. Dim brings positivity into the classroom and always spreads a productive attitude. She engages in all classroom activities and encourages others by affirming their efforts. The teachers describe Dim as quiet, respectful, and calm. However, when asked to give characteristics about herself, someone that wouldn't know her would say that they are crazy. I talk so much. Those impressions illustrate how she balances her energy, knowing when to be active and forceful and when to be quiet and persuasive. This ability to maintain that energy in positive behavior is essential for holistic well-being, positive relationships, and personal growth. It contributes to her emotional, physical, and social health, ultimately enhancing the overall quality of life. For these reasons, we nominate Dim as the Student of the Month. I asked Dim about her being quiet because she seemed quiet to me, and she said she's not. She said that she likes Arrowhead because their mascot are the Wolves, and Wolves are strong and confident. Dim is also a champion at soccer and volleyball, and she wants to be an entrepreneur and own her own babysitting business when she grows up. Congratulations, Dim, for being a Diploma Plus prospective student. Last but not least, we have our High School Student of the Month, Andrea Fernandez, who's an 11th grade student at Alfred Fairfax Academy.
All right.
Andrea was nominated by a team of teachers under the pillars of academics and positive behavior. One of her staff members said, "I'm thrilled to acknowledge Andrea for the outstanding contributions to our academic community. With an awesome attitude that brightens every classroom, Andrea has consistently demonstrated unwavering dedication to both studies and the welfare of her peers." Another staff member said, "Andrea is an exemplary student at Alfred Fairfax Academy. She attends regularly, focused on her academics, and always models respectful behavior." Principal Skylar Meyer said, "Andrea joined our AFA community in August, and in her first semester, she's exemplified the qualities of what it means to be a Falcon. Not only is Andrea a kind and caring and polite person, she's also a wonderful student and hard worker. This has been exemplified by her performance in all of her classes at AFA, as well as through her participation on the winning team at the Start Land Design Thinking Challenge at UMKC held in October. It is for these reasons and so many more, we nominate Andrea for the January Student of the Month." I asked Andrea what she wants to do when she grows up, and she says she either wants to be a daycare teacher or a nail tech. Her favorite thing to do when she's not at school is shopping, which I love. And it's also said that when people first meet her, they think that she's shy, but she's also very talkative and not introverted. Congratulations, Andrea.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson and Dr. Sutherland. Again, congratulations to our staff to all of our fifth grade at TA Edison and the staff, to all students being recognized. What a great honor and great joy to see all of them being recognized, and to your families, to everyone who has helped support you, and to the board for your continued collaboration to continue to support our students. We couldn't be more proud of all of you, so congratulations. At this time, we're going to take a brief recess so that we can take some photos with our students and staff. So board, if we can take a quick recess, and we'll take some photos for about 15 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, so we.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started again. Again, congratulations. That's always a fun part of our board meetings when we get to celebrate our students and their success and our staff. So thanks for allowing us. And again, board, thank you for your participation, and staff, thank you for all you do to help make that happen. It's always a fun time. Thank you. We'll continue with our agenda. Agenda item number 3, our community comment. Board, just a reminder, and community, you are all welcome to come and give comment. Please just make sure you sign up ahead of time with our board clerk, no later than the Monday at noon before the board meeting. You will have 3 minutes to share and to address the board. If you have anything that you want to leave with the board, please make sure the board clerk has that, and we can make copies for all the board members. Please state your name. Your time will start after you state your name and begin speaking, and you will have 3 minutes to address the board. Board, just so you're aware, something that we will start to do at board meetings at least monthly when we do have community comment. Dr. Stubblefield and staff, I do know that they get back with anyone who is giving community comment, and they make sure that they communicate with them in case there's something outstanding that we need to work with them on, and staff will give a report of any comments that were given at previous board meetings and any updates that we need to share publicly as well. So we'll make sure that we start doing that publicly. I know we get an email, but just to make sure that we're communicating and transparent with everyone. So with that, we will welcome Mr. W.D. Young, who is here with us to speak. Good afternoon, Mr. Young.
Good afternoon, Board. 3 minutes is hard, but I'm going to try to get it in. I'm over here to speak to you concerning the issue about Bertram Carruthers School, where the street is too narrow for the cars to come down. You have people, I assume that it used to be a walking school. Now it's a drive up. Parents want to drop the kids off, and it's causing so much confusion on this street that cannot take 50 to 75 cars to come down at one time to pick up their kids. The people who live in the community are getting very angry. They're blocking the driveways. We've done everything that the board or somebody has told us to do, which is security. We put the signs up. We have 2 autistic kids that live in the neighborhood, and that gets them riled. They tear the signs down. They mess with the people who come down. And even some of the community people who live in that neighborhood are angry that they cannot get out of their driveway. I have made several suggestions, but nobody has made any moves on it. I know most of the board members, and some of them are my friends. And I even talked to you, Ms. Lopez, one time at 10th Street. And I'm trying to get some help before something happens. We're confused about the whole system of the directions of the cars. It used to be on Waverly, and we hear everything, and everybody comes to me and act like I can solve the problems within this neighborhood. So I'm here speaking of the neighborhood, and they begged me to come, and I said, okay, I will speak there. It was on Waverly, and we knew something happened over there. That's why he transferred over to, it always been on Waverly where they picked up the kids. Then all of a sudden they threw it back over on Haskell, where we live at, and the confusion is trash trucks come down, the street's too narrow, and the people are getting angry, and when you ask them, can you move, they don't want to get out of line and go back around. I even had one said to me, I said, can I get by? Unfortunately, I didn't have my horn working. And he said, you got to say please. And I looked at him, I said, are you serious? Me say please so I get down to my street because you want to pick up your kid. Now what's happening is the parents are coming out an hour ahead to pick up their kids. No matter what you tell them, they're still going to come out to pick up the kids if they're in the area. So by that time, you got 40 cars lined up. You got 13 cars on one side and 15 on the other side. Can you tell me how can we stress this and take all these cars coming down here at that time? They think it takes 15 minutes. No, it takes an hour and 20-some minutes to get all those kids picked up with the parents. So I'm asking the board, please come out before somebody get hurt, somebody get angry, and things is going to happen. You know what I mean? It's just, it takes too much. My thing is they need to put it on 11th Street on the east side of the street. And then those cars can line up from all the way down from Waverly to Lafayette to all the way down to Parallel. It's a wider street. There's, you know, I mean, it's parking on that side. You can, but there's no cars parking on that. So I'm asking somebody, give me some directions. Who can I help with it? I mean, this project should have been taken care of. I know that y'all have been trying to get some sidewalks, and we're confused if Why they put sidewalks on the side of the street where the school is? And I've been living there all my life, and they've never had sidewalks on the east side of the street. But they'll come through it, I mean, this is the city now. They tear up the new sidewalks they got over there, and on the east side of the streets have never had any sidewalks. They say, well, we're trying to make it to the kids so they don't cross the street and walk down this on going home. It's horrible over this, so they need to kind of straighten this out. Like I say, it was a walking school. Now it's a drive-by school. The parents think that they can just take over the neighborhood. We need some help.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. I'm sorry your time was up. Thank you for coming by to speak with us, and I know you've been in communication with several staff members, and we'll continue to follow up and see what else can be done. Board will make sure we have a report to you all, but thank you for being here tonight, Mr. Young.
Thank you.
Our next community comment will come from Ms. Courtney Eitrich? Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Iderish.
Thank you.
Iderish. I'm Courtney Iderish. I teach at J.C. Harmon, and I'm here to talk to you tonight to address the acceptable use policy revisions that were made recently. And I wanted to talk about how this places a significant level of control in the hands of administration and the district technology department. And while it's reasonable to expect responsible use as an employee, the extent to which the staff must comply may limit our autonomy and hinder our ability to do our jobs efficiently, which ultimately affects our student outcomes. The first issue, because I teach government, that seems most problematic to me is the potential violation of First Amendment rights of our staff members. Punishing individuals for expressing adverse opinions or posting content that may be deemed critical of the district could raise concerns about freedom of speech and the right to assent. And these are posting content on our own devices, on our own time. For example, if I go home tonight and I post that I spoke at this meeting and I share it on social media, and is that considered something that's adversarial? I'm here to talk against something that the district is doing. And if by doing that, I share the link of this meeting on social media, and several other staff members then get fired up over the AUP, and they come here next month, is that now causing a disruption? Is this something that I can get disciplined for? And who then determines what is adversarial? So when we talk about what that means, I mean, this is kind of a simple example, but it's also scary for an employee to come and actually push back a little bit and say, this is not where we think that this should go. Another problem that is a concern is the requirement for classified staff members to refrain from working on district-issued devices outside their duty hours. Not checking their devices after hours may hinder their productivity and responsiveness of classified staff who might need to address urgent matters or engage in tasks that extend beyond their regular workday. This may not give them the ability to do their jobs efficiently. And I'm not saying that they should be working outside their hours. What I am saying is that sometimes you need to mentally prepare for what's coming the next morning, especially if you're a secretary that has to deal with substitutes coming in. You know, I want to know that I've got 12 people out today before I get to work. You know, it's not necessarily saying you need to do anything about it, but I need to know that maybe this is happening. And by making a policy that allows for someone to not be able to have access to that information can be hindrance for their job. Secondly, or thirdly, and this policy imposes strict limitations on the personal use of our district devices. If we're not allowed to access our devices outside of the intranet, nor receive our emails on our personal phones, then why is my principal sending me emails on Sunday? You know, why am I supposed to call parents? They work. They can't call me back until they're home at night. So are they not supposed to call me on my personal phone? Am I really supposed to talk to them? So when we talk about what's best for the students, there are certain instances where we feel like there's a way for us to make this work in a different way without breaking board policy. And the reality is that we just can't have it both ways. I feel like we all know that everybody here breaks this policy every single day. We work past our work hours, you know, as far as certified staff go. We are trying to do the best what's best for the students, and maybe the solution is to provide phones for everybody. You know, we have people in buildings that have to text just to allow people to be in a spot if there's an emergency that happens in the building. Can somebody please come and help?
Ms.
You know,
Courtney, I'm sorry, we're at
third
time.
time, no problem. I appreciate that. So I just want to just say that when this comes to it being an investigation, then the policy can stand. But when it comes to making it convenient for our jobs, it cannot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lopez, can she give us, she went through quite a bit of stuff.
Right.
Can we get something in writing?
Absolutely. I can send
Okay.
you an email.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will continue with our agenda. Item number 4 is the consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Thank you.
Next up, Board, we will hear from our Director of Libraries, Ms. Carol Levers.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Good evening, Board. Good evening,
Evening.
Dr.
Good
Stubblefield.
evening.
Okay. That's not it. Sorry. Can you make it bigger? Please. Thank you. Appreciate that. Sorry. This evening, the report is just a heads up to let you know about an issue that could become concerning for the board. And the reason why I'm going through this is actually to give a refresher course, especially to our new board members, so that they know what the library stands for. We had in the past year patrons checking out large amounts of books that they deem inappropriate for other people to be exposed to. So what they do, they check out all these books, and then they we check it out for 3 weeks. You can then renew it twice, which is 9 weeks. And then, of course, there's no renewal after that. You have to return the items, and they just don't. So we investigated, we found out, and we contacted the patrons to let them know that you can't do that. But, you know, to them, it's inappropriate for them, so they want books banned out of the libraries, and that's their way of showing it. So they tend to hold on to the books. I send a letter letting them know that if they keep those books, we're going to file a report and, you know, charge them with theft. But anyway, some of them did return the books. But this it's an upswing, and I just wanted the board to be aware of what's happening. We have a growing issue with the UG Library Board leadership as well, that is actively working towards cutting funding for that library system. You know, it was told to me that they don't need to pay taxes for libraries because the libraries are free. And they can check out books anywhere in the metro for free. I tried to explain the reason why anybody can check out a library book anywhere in the metro is because of KCKPS's reciprocal borrowing agreement with our metro-wide libraries. Otherwise, you have to pay $75 to $95 in order to have access, because other people pay taxes for the use of their libraries. So I just wanted to bring this up so that the board is aware of what's happening. We've seen on the news about book banning, et cetera, and I've never thought that it'll come to our doorstep, but it's right here. But I just wanted to make sure that the board is aware of that. I do also want to let the board know that Piper is actively looking in establishing a library. I've worked with the Piper superintendent. We've already looked at the building, and they're excited, but I informed them that they need to come to the board, ask for permission to join as did Turner. And of course, the funding will come from the Unified Government Library Board. So, but it's just some things that I think the board needs to be aware of. And now, the reason why I did this is because just to let the board know what we are doing in the libraries to try and counter this action. Our mission for the Kansas City, Kansas Public Libraries is connecting members of our dynamic community with information, tools, resources, and welcoming spaces to enrich their lives. The vision, leading the way in reading, information, and culture. We adhere to the American Libraries Association, like the schools would do for KSDE. We honor ALA, Library Association Bill of Rights. And the three tenets in the American Association, which we call ALA, is the Library Bill of Rights, Freedom to Read statement, and the Freedom to View statement. Those are the three most important, paramount statements that we adhere to. And I'm not going to read all because I've given you in your book board report. But I think the Bill of Rights, I would like to go through all of that so that even our community can hear that. So books and other library resources should be provided for the interest, information, and enlightenment of all people of the community the library serves. Materials should not be excluded because of the origin, background, or views of those contributing to their creation. Libraries should provide materials and information presenting all points of view on current and historical issues. Materials should not be proscribed or removed because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval. Libraries should challenge censorship in the fulfillment of their responsibility to provide information and enlightenment. Libraries should cooperate with all persons and groups concerned with resisting abridgment of free expression and free access to ideas. A person's right to use a library should not be denied or abridged because of origin, age, background, or views. Libraries which make exhibit spaces and meeting rooms available to the public they serve should make such facilities available on an equitable basis, regardless of the beliefs or affiliations of individuals or groups requesting their use. All people, regardless of origin, age, background, or views, possess a right to privacy and confidentiality in the library use. Libraries should advocate for, educate about, and protect people's privacy, safeguarding all library use data, including personal identifiable information. So the ALA, and that's American Libraries Association, put out a statement on June 25th, 1953, and this is what it said. We trust the people of this nation to make their own decisions about what they read and believe. 70 years later, we still trust them to make their own decisions. The second bullet point is the ALA Freedom to Read statement. And I'm just going to, sorry, okay, I've got them. It is in the public interest for publishers and librarians to make available the widest diversity of views and expressions, including those that are unorthodox, popular, or considered dangerous by the majority. It is, and I'll jump to number 6, the rest you can read for yourself, or anybody can go to ALA .org, or you just go to our library website under our policies. You can find these statements there. Number 6 is the responsibility of publishers and librarians as guardians of the people's freedom to read, to contest encroachments upon that freedom by individuals or groups seeking to impose their own standards or tastes upon the community at large, and by the government whenever it seeks to reduce or deny public access to public information. It is the responsibility of librarians to give full meaning to the freedom to read by providing books that enrich the quality and diversity of thought and expression. By the exercise of this affirmative responsibility, they can demonstrate that the answer to a bad book is a good one. The answer to a bad idea is a good one. So ALA Freedom to View, you can read as well, but I'll just read the first one, is to provide the broadest access to film, video, and other audiovisual materials because they are a means for the communication of ideas. Liberty of circulation is essential to ensure the constitutional guarantee of freedom of expression. Now, we have a policy in place if there are any challenges, and the board has agreed to that, and it's part of our policy. And if anybody has a request for reconsideration of library materials, they can just contact the library or just call us, and then we will give them they have to complete a form, and it's sent to the Assistant Director of Libraries, who then will form a review committee, which consists of a board member, a community member, and a staff member. And it could be 2 or just 1 each, but they will then decide after reading whatever the patron or person, why they wanted the material to be reconsidered. And once the decision is made, the Assistant Director of Libraries will then notify the patron, and the committee will, after they have reviewed it. So I have just a 2-minute video that I would like to share with you, and this was on MSNBC, and it is a retired naval officer that came to speak to his board.
Carol, if you have technical
Sorry.
difficulties, they can, if it's embedded, they can watch it. You can send the link and I can put it in the end of the week.
It is in your,
Yeah.
it is in your, we
It's on
tested it,
the-
and they said it was working this
Yeah.
afternoon. So, but anyway, I think it's very important. It was something that I really wanted the community to see as well, and we can do it on another time. But thank you for your time. Sorry. Yes, Miss.
Can we ask?
Yeah, absolutely. Please, Ms. Page.
I just want to I was trying to follow this. People are taking materials they don't want people to see. I just want to make sure for clarity I'm
Yes.
following you.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Something
And-
that they have some against this materials
And
because.
do we have a count? How many items have been taken?
We did, we received them, it were returned, but I'm just giving, it's starting to ramp up, and I just wanted the board to be aware this is happening in our library, so.
Can we see like data?
Yeah,
Like how many people are we talking about? Are we talking about like one Joe Schmo who's taking 30 books? Like how do I,
Figure out how many.
in the bigger scheme of things, how do I understand this situation in much more detail? Like,
Yeah.
is it like $500? Is it 1,000? Like, just more details around how to track.
Well,
Better
I don't
gauge
have
how
the
this is-
exact
How
amount.
this year's different than last year, or, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been years ago that it happened, and then all of a sudden, last year, it started again, you know, and I think it basically, it's just with the Unified Government Libraries. They came to the board meetings, and they just kind of attacked us verbally, you know, because of us wasting their money. If we want to plan any programs, we need to do it out of our own pockets and not use their money. And, you know, it's just things like that. And after that, it started, and you know, but it happened in 3 of our libraries. So what I wanted to do, just to let the board be aware that this is happening. We are trying to curb it, and we have let them know if it happens again, that we will press charges, you know, and it's, to me, it's like, you know, stealing.
Yeah, so Ms. Levers, maybe just as a follow-up at a future, you can send to Dr. Stubblefield for her Friday updates to the board in terms of just any data that you've collected around how this is affecting the library and you know, just so we're a little bit more informed of actual numbers and data.
No problem. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any additional questions for Ms. Levers tonight?
No.
If not,
I just wanted to note, she mentioned something about a Piper library creation, and I just want to make sure that we can get all of the details of like how those things happen, because I would hate for someone to come up and ask, and I know I have no idea how the creation of a new library system works. And so just whatever we can do either at our retreat or just helping us understand
So what,
that inauguration
what
process.
what happened when the Turner, unless Ms. Levers, if you want to explain it, I can. But
Yes. Well, you can do about the Turner, but I'm just going back to Piper. We worked with them, met with them over last year, and they said that this year most probably will be the time for them to step forward. And I explained to them what they need to do first is ask permission, you know, come to the board and ask permission. And that's the reason we don't have a date yet or anything like that.
And I got that part. Like,
Yeah.
There's no misstep there, but it's just when it comes to us.
let me maybe make a quick explanation. So any library facility or building that's within the boundaries of USD 500, this board governs. So that you guys make the decision on whether there's a new building, a new service, whatever might be the case. For those library services that are provided outside of the boundaries of USD 500.
The PET district.
Which is called the PET district, which is, you know, Piper, Edwardsville, and Turner. Those individuals, the Wyandotte County Library Board has some tax dollars they get for that. They pay a portion of those tax dollars to our library system so that those residents can use the library system in USD 500. Turner has a satellite library that is operated by our library system at their Turner Rec facility, and that is funded by an interlocal agreement between the Unified Government, the Wyandotte County Library Board, USD 500, and the Turner Rec Commission, which is a subcategory of the school district over there. I'm assuming Piper would be similar. So what would happen is they would propose a contractual arrangement where we would provide the library services at a physical location in Piper in exchange for a certain amount of the dollars being funded by the Wyandotte County Library Board and the Piper School District is typically how it would be done. So that's what would happen. It would just be us providing satellite services in an area geographically outside of our physical boundaries. But it'd be a contract, it'd be an interlocal agreement.
But we'll keep you posted. I just wanted to make sure that you are aware that it is coming down the pipeline.
thank you, Ms. Levers. If there are no other questions, entertain a motion to accept the report from the library director.
I have one
I'm
more.
sorry, Ms. Page.
And I'm not expecting the answer tonight. How does that affect our budget or the library's budget because it's going to take money to do it, so I was just wondering.
Yeah, it shouldn't affect our budget. It depends on how we negotiate it. So for example, if we're going to staff, for example, the one in Turner, we staff it, but we get money to staff it. There's a library collection that's there, and that's, you see on the board report tonight, and it's on every quarter. There's a quarterly report from the Turner Library. That's why you guys get that, because you've got this interlocal contractual arrangement, and each quarter they'll show you financially that it's a break even. You're getting the money to pay for the collection, the utilities, whatever it is they need in the facility. Although if I recall correctly on Turner's, the rec commission's providing the facility sort of free of charge, or, pro rata, or however you want to describe that.
Yeah, I saw the Turner, but she mentioned Piper, so I didn't know if it fell.
It'd be the same thing. It'd be the same thing. I assume they would create space in a building or facility out there. I mean, I don't know the details of any of this. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But the way it would probably work is somebody would offer up a space within the boundaries of Turner, or Piper rather, and then there would be funding that would be provided, and in exchange for that funding, we would provide a staff and a collection. So, just be a location.
Thank you. So we'll keep the board abreast of any developments. Thanks for the explanation there, Mr. Goheen. If there are no other questions, we entertain a motion to accept the library director's report.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries. Next item, board, is item 6. In front of us, board, it is recommended that the Board of Education accept the low bids for labor totaling $1,029,239 from 3 different contractors that are in the memo, as submitted by Mr. Wayne Carell, Mr. Steve Lilly, and as recommended by Dr. Anna Stubblefield.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next agenda item, board, it's recommended the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Education accept the update of dual program in the Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools as submitted by Ms. Jacqueline Rodriguez, Director of ESOL and Migrant Programs, through Dr. Jermaine Wilson, Executive Director of Student Services and Family Services, Dr. Judith Campbell, Deputy Superintendent, and is recommended by Dr. Anna Stubblefield.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there questions? And before I want to allow Dr. Stubblefield to share any information, board, I do just want to say that this has, some of us had a chance to visit the dual language program at a few different schools. And if you haven't had the opportunity, I would highly encourage you to do so, and or meet with Ms. Rodriguez or Ms. Linkus. Can share a lot of great information about the program. It's really great to see the students in their element and the staff who are working. So thank you. I know it's been a lot of hard work, heavy lift, and it continues to be. So thank you to our staff for all that you're doing to make sure that this is a successful and sustainable program for the district and will be a flagship program for us. So board, thank you for your commitment. I know Ms. Russell, when you came on, this was a vision of yours as well. So thank you for everyone's commitment to making sure that this has come off the ground and is being successfully implemented by staff. Dr. Stubblefield and then Ms. Russell.
I just wanted to say there was a question that was submitted that I just want to talk about publicly because I think it may be a question. I'm pulling up the answer while I do this. I should have had it up. That came up from board members regarding part of it, if you looked at the presentation or the PowerPoint, one of the things that we are recommending is to take the program, remove the program from Silver City and focus on New Stanley and Francis Willard, as we're moving forward with Francis Willard potentially becoming a magnet program where we can provide busing. One of the barriers that we discover in our discussion was that transportation is a barrier. We know, like, with transportation, we could not provide transportation to all 3 locations. But Silver City, based on the makeup, our goal was to have what we can support, monitor, and continue to grow and develop is the 50-50 dual language program. When you looked at the makeup of the classrooms at Silver City, it did not reflect that. And based on the capacity of the department and us doing it with fidelity and looking at research, we do want to hold true to that model as we implement it, so that as we're collecting data and making adjustments, we are able to provide the best structure. So in the answer, it talked about how we came to that decision. The other part was how are we evaluating the success of the program, and similar to all of our students, we look at FastBridge common assessments, but we also look at language skills, and they follow the guiding principles for the dual language education and the Center for Applied Linguistics. And they also collaborate with other districts that have had programs in place for several years, districts that are similar in demographics to us, both larger and smaller. I know they've been in touch with Omaha Public Schools, which has over 51,000 kids, as well as Wichita and Topeka. There may be some others, but they are collaborating on a regular basis so that we can do this with sustainability.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
Yeah, thank you for that. I had a few questions that weren't sent prior, so if they can't be answered tonight, that's okay, but I also publicly wanted to share them. My first question is with regards to Silver City. I heard you talk about transportation, but I wanted to confirm that those families that are being asked to then go to Francis Willard, we will be providing for current kindergarten enrolled Silver City students per se, we will be providing transportation.
Yes.
Yes. So they, after today, we'll begin communicating with parents and families at Silver City, and then giving them the option to either go to Francis Willard in Silver City and having them have that transportation set up for next year. So we want to maintain those cohorts, but what we know is that the model at Silver City just isn't that 50-50 model, and putting them together with New Stanley and Francis Willard would allow us to remix the groups and still hold true to that 50-50 cohort.
So are you saying families, I thought I just heard you say families, they're not all going to Francis Willard, some will go to Francis Willard and New Stanley? Is that what you said?
Based on capacity, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing that I do just want to be transparent and clear about, New Stanley has limited capacity, and they currently only have 1 bus there. So we will look at that, but providing transportation to Francis Willard would probably provide more opportunity, but New Stanley is, yeah. So, and we'll be transparent with families about that. So there may be some options if families can provide their own transportation to New Stanley over Francis Willard. We haven't worked out all the details of that yet.
Gotcha. And that was my second question, because the way I read it was everyone was going to Silver City. Everyone from Silver City was going to Francis Willard. So then my teacher to student ratio number didn't make sense, but you will work through all of that. So my last question, I guess, is around enrollment. So kindergarten enrollment started yesterday. I did not see an option on kindergarten enrollment for dual language. And so are they starting at a separate time frame, and how do we share that information? How does that roll out? Because I know for sure it was not on there. But if we're already pushing kindergarten enrollment, how do families enroll in this program moving forward?
Great question. We're following the same protocol as we did last year. So as kindergarten registration opens up, those registers pick up students to New Stanley and Silver City, and then they follow back up with a phone call or a in-person meeting, letting them understand the whole scope of what the dual language program is. Remember, we're prioritizing neighborhood students, and then we'll open up to a lottery. That will open up in March, just to allow us to, one, work through kindergarten registration, and then open up to the district at large. It was the same process that we used last year. One of the things that we still haven't done, because we wanted to make sure that we had that disclosed here, is update our website. All of those dates will now go on the website. I think by Friday is kind of our timeline to ensure that it's all accurate and following that process. But it is the same timeline that we followed last year.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Additional questions? Ms. Rodriguez, while you're here, is there anything else that you want to make sure the board is aware of? Just want to give you a chance since you're at the mic.
I mean, again, we welcome you. If you haven't had an opportunity, this is a great time to get in, to see how much language the students have acquired. And we really appreciate the support from the board to move this forward and that trust in us to ensure that we're using fidelity of the program. Another thing that in the horizon the next couple of years is with that question along with what data are we using, and fidelity is bringing in a consultant to continue support that longevity. We're really excited about the outcomes and the support. I know our teachers are really excited about the program that are currently in it, and we're excited to welcome a new cohort of kindergartners next year.
Thank you. Thank you. And I apologize, I misspoke. Your actual title is Director of Multilingual Education and Services. I forgot we changed the title of the department, so I apologize for misspeaking. Board, if there are no other questions, there is a motion and a second on the floor. Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
And Dr. Nguyen, we're just.
I don't know.
We are, in the agenda, we are under board updates regarding the dual language program to accept the updates of the program as submitted by Ms. Rodriguez to move from Silver City
Yes.
to the other schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Board, our next agenda item is number 7. As you recall, with Ms. Humphrey's departure from the board, there are some vacancies that we would like to fill. The first one is the KASB nominating committee that meets once per year. Ms. Maxine Drew has graciously volunteered to accept that nomination to that committee if the board is willing to accept her for that committee. So I would recommend that we nominate Ms. Drew to the KASB nominating committee.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there questions or discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And thank you, Ms. Drew, for accepting. The next item, board, just a reminder for our board committees that we do have out there. If you have not already scheduled your meetings for the year, it's really helpful for our board clerk and for members of the board and the committee members to know when those committee meetings are taking place. So if you do have your schedule for the year or for the month, if they're regularly scheduled committee meetings, please let Ms. Smith know so that we can get those updated on the board calendar and make sure that the public is aware and staff are aware who are attending those meetings. I know there are some already scheduled, but if you can help out with that, that would help Ms. Smith and our board greatly. There are a couple of vacancies as well left by Ms. Humphreys on these committees. One is the academic committee. Board, I would recommend that Mr. Mylan join the academic committee. He has also expressed interest in the academic committee, so I would recommend that Mr. Mylan join that committee. And then the other committee is the boundary committee that was left vacant by Ms. Humphreys. I would like to join the committee if the board is so willing to let me join that committee as well. And then the other committee that meets is the Student of the Month committee. And so I know we have a couple of board members on that committee. No one has yet expressed interest to fill Ms. Humphrey's vacant position there. So if someone would like to, you can speak now, or just let us know in the future. It's a great, as you saw earlier today, we get to recognize and celebrate students and employees. So that is a committee that is still vacant. We do have 2 board members on that committee, so it's not pressing to have another board member if we don't find one tonight. So with that, again, the academic committee, I would recommend Mr. Mylan, and with Boundary, if you are okay, I would like to join that committee.
So I don't have any objections to you joining the Boundary Committee, but I would like to offer me and Ms. Page as a co-chair to facilitate a meeting this spring for that committee. Both, if the board remembers, we had conversations around the feeder that we were going to take back to that committee, as well as this is the end of the 2-year term commitment for those individuals who had submitted an application for that committee. And so we could host a spring committee meeting to officially say thank you for your service, to get initial feedback, and depending on the outcomes of the bond, either way, those feeder things would need to be addressed. And so we would have a spring meeting, and then we could kick off the year once we as a board have reorganized to meet again, but to also open the application for folks who would be interested in serving on that committee beginning in 24 through the 26 school year. So that is my only feedback and thought that I had around that committee. And then I also could make a motion for Mr. Mylan to join the academic committee as well.
Yeah, so hopefully, Ms. Page, are you willing to serve as a co-chair for that committee?
Yeah, I'm on the committee.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
We just need someone. We need the 2 of us to just say, let's make this happen.
Perfect. So we'll plan, recommendation would be then for Ms. Russell and Ms. Page to co-chair that committee, for myself to join that boundary committee, Mr. Mylan to join the academic committee. Are there any?
Motion, so I'll take a second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion? Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez.
Randy Lopez, yes?
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen. Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Mylan, thank you for joining the academic committee. You thought you were getting off easy. That's one of the toughest committees, so welcome to the job on your first meeting.
I had one question, Mr. President. Who else is on that committee?
We have Ms. Drew and Ms. Page are both on that committee,
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Campbell and
All
other
right.
staff. So you are in great hands, don't you worry. Thank you.
We're just going to put you on all the committees.
Listen, I had that idea too. Then he can tell us next year what he wanted.
I tried, he told me no, so
Next agenda item.
you're getting the hang of it, Mr. Mylan. Thank you. So our next item, board, is our policy items. First on the agenda is for a second read, the family engagement policy. You'll notice, board, that there are several revisions since the last time we saw this policy. So up for tonight, it is recommended to accept for a second read the family engagement policy.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there questions or discussion on this item? We'll see this again.
One question.
Yes, Ms. Russell.
So I feel like previously it wasn't called a SAC. We called it something else. Was it called a school advisory council?
It might have been, I'm not certain. Those who have history can come share like what it was called. I think Ms. Walker is coming forward. So I'm just going to defer to her.
No, I thought at the last meeting it was referred to as something different.
I can't remember.
I can't.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
I think when it comes to family engagement, we do have a variety of terminology for the site councils. Regularly, we hear principals refer to their site council team as site council. Some of the high schools refer to it as a guiding coalition team. We also have building leadership teams that have parent and community members on that as well. So I think that is something that we would want to look at standardizing as far as the terminology. What is a requirement is, of course, that they do have a guiding committee that does involve parents, guardians, and community members. What they call it has been a little loose, and so we'll have to think about that once the family engagement policy is approved by the board. So they have a variety of names at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
You additional questions? Seeing none, board, this will come back again for a third read, so there will be a further opportunity for questions. In the meantime, if there are more questions, please submit those to Dr. Stubblefield. Seeing no other questions, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes?
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries. The next agenda item, just recommended to accept for a second read the solicitation policy. And Dr. Stubblefield? something to share?
I just wanted to say this policy is coming back for a second read. What we attach for reference is the process when teachers or staff members do donor choice. And we also updated the process to include appeal process for a staff member. If they're told by their principal, they can appeal it to the superintendent's office, and then I can designate. Historically, that hasn't been the case. If it was told no, it never really left the building, but we did add the language so that if it's told no, somebody outside of the building, just depending on what it is, it could be myself or somebody in the various departments that are impacted by it, that will review it and collaborate with the staff and the principal to see if we can make it happen, or if we already have the resources that we can allocate to it so that a donor's choice may not be needed. So that's the update, and then that reference of what is there.
Is that an example, or you're saying, because that one says KCPS, so I just was clarifying.
The example said donor's choice in grants.
The one around
Oh.
donors choose an application guide. It says per KCPS board policy. So I didn't know if this was the actual thing or if this was an example.
Yeah, we'll correct it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You recommended to accept for second read policy KDC and GAI. Is there a motion to do so?
Yeah, I know what it says here. I get this. But I've gotten a lot of questions, and I know I asked this of you, Dr. Stubblefield, about teachers who are still concerned. They get the solicitation policy, and yeah, we need that. I don't have a problem with that. But there's still a concern, and I wish you would share with them what you shared with me so I don't misquote you about what needs to be done also from building to building. I know it can't be equal, but we want it to be equitable. But there's still a concern about teachers not being able to get what they need to get supplies and not to use their own money. I don't believe they should have to do that.
Yeah. So Ms. Page and I had a conversation last week, and one of the things that we talked about as we carve out budgets for next year is to, within each building's budget, is to outline budgets for departments or grade levels so that there's an allocated amount, so that it's not done in the most equitable way. So like a larger building, like a high school, their budgets will be bigger than like a small elementary school, but we will work with principals to carve out those line items so that it's not like I need to ask for $50 if I have this project. If they know, like going in, if I'm a fourth grade teacher and it's 4 sections, how it broke down, we all have $150 each that goes toward like those extra things. They'll at least know what they're starting out with. So we'll work with the finance and budget department to carve out that line item for departments and budgets and grade levels, just depending on the subject, yeah. Some schools do have it that way, but we'll just make sure that it's consistent across all schools.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Page. Thank you, Dr. Stubblefield. Ms. Russell?
Again, I want to thank Amazon for their donation to our district earlier this year. Also, during that donation, we got lots of comments, lots of feedback around Amazon wish list. We were going to do some investigating, discussing that, knowing that we have two of the biggest distribution plants right here in our backyard and what that continual partnership looks like. Can we work on getting an update on where that conversation is, or what? I think, while I understand, similar to Mrs. Page's point, the purpose of this solicitation, I don't see other districts limiting their staff to just donors choose. I continue to have an issue with that. And so just to know that that conversation is still happening, because I would hate to be counting our district out in something that could have much benefit overall. Yeah, doesn't have to be answered tonight, but just would like to see that update.
Yep, we'll follow up.
Thank you. Additional questions, discussion on these items? Not, is there a motion to accept for second read?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? None. Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next agenda item, board, is up tonight. It's recommended to accept for third read the early graduation policy JFCA. Dr. Stubblefield.
This policy, again, board, we attached some documents for reference. In the last discussion, it was requested that a packet be put together, and it actually, I think it will be beneficial. What we attached tonight is the discussion points for early graduation, ensuring that all of the, whomever's talking with the students are going over, what can be provided to the district if they remained enrolled, and what are the options if they are choosing to graduate early, as well as the form that they complete. So as we go through this, as we learn, we can enhance it and add things, but we will make sure that we share that with the board. But currently, this is what should be occurring, and although it's already happened for this year, this will at least level set for next year.
Is there a motion to accept for third read policy JFCA?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there questions or discussion? Yes, Ms. Russell.
So I'm just going to make the statement that I still think this is a very cumbersome process. And I don't understand why we're making it so hard. It feels hard. But I appreciate the staff for outlining this packet. And so I will be voting no, because I just don't fundamentally agree with this process. So.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. Additional questions or discussion?
Ms. Russell, what's hard about it? I mean, I'm just trying to understand your viewpoint.
So I
What's
think
so
what's hard about it is how it will, I'm trying to find the words to say, how it will be equitably dispersed throughout the district and implemented. So we make this document, I feel like people's decision to graduate early, it doesn't matter what it costs the district. It doesn't matter if they don't have it all figured out. They are making a conscious decision to graduate early, and that's a personal and a family choice. When I look at this document, it feels like oh, if we can give you more at this time, the last semester before my senior year, like if I've said I want to graduate early, I just want to graduate early. I don't want to have to go through all of these tasks and sit here and listen to folks tell me why or why I shouldn't. Like, it's a personal decision, and this feels super impersonal and feels like, oh, I want to make sure I can check the box. And so it's just my own personal, as a teen parent, if I would have had to go through this process, like this would be defeating. Like for whatever reason, I already feel like I don't want to be here, personal or academic wise. I shouldn't have to do all of this. And I appreciate the work that our staff has put into this to make sure it is uniform, but still, even if it's uniform, if it's not for me, it's not for me. And so, personal preference on what I think early graduation should look like a student saying, hey, I want to graduate, and I've met your requirements. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Additional questions, or Ms. Clark?
I don't necessarily have additional questions. I just want to add, so I do appreciate this, and we've heard too many times that we're inconsistent. So this as a starting point to me is great, and I appreciate it. The one thing that I think maybe we should be adding is people don't know what we have. So when I hear like a semester or right before I'm getting ready to graduate, now you want to tell me what's available to me, it makes me go back to other conversations that we've had that says, maybe I should have had this my 8th grade year or my 9th grade year too, just as a proactive approach. So do people see this document in the beginning and at the end, just thinking through how can this be repetitive for our students?
So this document was just created. They don't see this specific document, but within their FA class, when they're doing their individual plans of study, they should be talking about all of these options. I can't say wholeheartedly that that's happening, but I can check with our Diploma Plus team to make sure when they start their individual plans of study, they're exploring all of those options. And if we find that is not happening, like that across the district, we can write it. But that is a part of the whole reason for the individual plan of study, for them to see all of the different options, pathways, and if I choose this, this is where it leads me. If I shift, this is what it means that I need to do if I'm trying to get an industry-recognized credential, or if I go to tech. That should be happening within their individual plans of study.
Okay, then I think we're aligned. I recognize they didn't see this. I
Right.
just don't, this should not be foreign to people. So
Right.
to me, when they get to the end and they've made that decision, it should not be complicated. It should be very checkbox, because none of this is new. Yes, I know these are options. Maybe I should have thought about them differently. Maybe I should not have. I mean, I have students in this district, and I had kids that maybe didn't necessarily know all the various options. So it would be checkbox to them if we have done the pre-work ahead of time to make sure students and families know services. So
Yep.
that's a little bit of a different opinion.
Yes, Dr. Nguyen.
Thank you. And help me remember, Dr. Stubblefield, were we not dinged a little bit about the individual plans of study?
Dinged on KISA?
Yeah.
No. Actually, we were very close to receiving the recognition for individual plans of study this year. The feedback that we got, we have some tweaks, and we anticipate next year that we actually will get the
Okay, so
Kansas Star.
that's what we were conveyed.
Yeah.
Circling back to Ms. Clark's point, then, if we're addressing that shortfall, however short it is, then that concern should be addressed.
Yes, and I will say historically, like if you look back 3 years ago, it may have been, but in the last couple of years, it's been tightened up, like when we just put some things in place. So we'll make sure it should be addressed, and honestly, next year, we are anticipating that we'll receive the STAR recognition for individual.
Right, but if we're at this point right now, we should be able to address it now.
Yeah.
And not wait till next year.
No, well, correct. I think we have addressed it. I just said I need to verify.
We need documentation that
Yeah.
it's being addressed.
Yeah, We will get that, yeah.
Thank you.
And then legally, have we covered everything with that document?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, from a legal standpoint, I think what you're doing passes muster in terms of the early graduation and notification of individuals of what things they might be giving up if they take early graduation.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great. Additional feedback, thoughts? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Marlin Jr.,
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, no.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board, our next agenda item, it is recommended to accept for a second read the board handbook that is in front of you. Yes, Dr. Nguyen.
I'd like to see, and help me understand if changes were made, the mock-up of what was changed. Did we ever get that mock-up of what's changed in red and or black, however we worked that?
I believe that may have been, but we'll send it out, and if you want to, the board wants to hold before making a decision, we can make sure that we send that out. I know that exists, so yes, we can make sure we get that to the
And
board.
secondly, I still would like for us to decide to use the Robert's Rules of Order. There's no prohibition. This handbook just says we will not.
Right, and I think, and to that point, I know that was something that was brought up at the last board meeting. I think that's, my recommendation would be maybe to have a time during our board retreat in April that we've scheduled to carve out time to talk about those, whether it's Robert's Rules or what else we would want to use. I know the board does lay out how we are governed and how we run our meetings, so that does exist in our board handbook. So I think before rushing into any kind of decision on that, I think it'd be good to.
Well, Robert's Rules is pretty well known, so nobody is rushing into that order of meeting organization. So I would respectfully disagree with a rush. I mean, you grow up in third grade on Robert's Rules of Order.
Well,
Maybe not you.
I would
but-
push back a little bit and say that not everyone learns Robert's Rules of Order, and it's a little different now.
Most
but,
people do.
So I would recommend that we have a conversation before making a change like that, although, again, it is the will of the board. Ms. Drew?
Okay, and just for reference, when I first came on, I was under the assumption that we were using Robert's Rules, and I was told we weren't.
Right.
So it might be something that we can consider to discuss.
But one would think
And
one
then
would
add in,
consider.
right. Right.
So that's something I never understood. Most major organizations, and maybe we need a history lesson from this board, why wouldn't you use it? Because I remember at a meeting when that was said in the whole audience, because most of us belong to different organizations, and you use Robert's Rule of Order. Because I never seen the chair not have to step down and then pass it to the vice. And then if they had a recommendation, but this was, I never seen anything like it.
The
So I was just
recommendation.
wondering historically, where'd they get that?
Yeah, the recommendation to not use Robert's Rules is one that the Kansas Association of School Boards has made since before I started doing school law work. So that's where it came from, and it's not just this school district. It's in their, I think it's in their policy section. Yeah, so I think it's all the school districts don't use it, and that's
So is
based
it
on.
optional?
Yeah, the board can, this board or any school board can adopt rules of procedure to govern the board meetings that they choose to do so. Robert's Rules is one option that you could do. You asked where it came from.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. It came from the Kansas Association of School Boards, and it came years ago. So that's where.
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Miley.
If what the attorney is saying that the recommendations was solidified by the choices that the board makes, can that ever be changed and re-input where the board can re-vote to install it? I'm with Ms. Brownlee Page on Robert's Rule of Order and Dr. Nguyen.
it would seem that most organizations, as we grow up and learning what it's about and what it consists of, that's how it works. Just let me say that. So my question is, can it ever be re-voted for us to go by?
Yeah.
Or change with the board that's in place, regardless of what other boards do?
Yeah, yes, the board policies, which I think you actually have an express policy, I can't remember which number it is, in addition to the handbook that says that you're not going to follow Robert's rules. But the board by policy can have a policy change to adopt and then follow Robert's rules or some other model rule, or the board, and even if the board adopts that and decides to follow Robert's rules, the board can ultimately decide to stop following Robert's rules, although they would have to comply with Robert's rules to do that if they did that.
Thank you. Additional questions?
We can discuss it later.
So would the board like to accept for a second read the handbook that is presented, or the other option would be to hold off on this tonight and send out, make sure everyone has the red line version of the handbook to show the changes that were made? Are there any?
Can we hold off and see both ways, the red line version and the other way, so we can all be on one accord?
Okay, so I will, if it is okay with the board, we'll table this item for the next meeting, and between now and then, this week, before the week is over, we'll make sure that we send out the red line version.
Did you do the red line?
Don did the red line.
Yeah, if the board handbook was revised during a couple of board retreats that we had, a couple of special meetings that we, where we went through the board handbook and made some suggested edits and changes, and Ms. Downing was present to record all of those changes, so then she put together what we have in front of us. But I know the red line version does exist, so we'll make sure that we send that out to everyone. So we'll table this item for a future meeting, for the next meeting. Board, similarly with the KASB, the next item, the KASB policy updates. I understand not everyone has had a chance to really look at all of the policy recommendations from KASB, so if the board is okay, we can table this item until the next board meeting as well, so that folks have time to really review and look at these items. This is up for first read tonight, but we can table that until the next board meeting, so you have a chance to review these.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, we will hear from our superintendent of schools, Dr. Anna Stubblefield.
Good evening, everyone. I am pulling up my comments, and I will try to be brief and quick. First, I just want to thank everybody for their flexibility as we have had to navigate several inclement weather days since we have returned from winter break. We always prioritize the staff and students' safety. But with that, we do have a minimum number of hours that we have to be in attendance, and it's 1,116 hours. I just want to publicly share that at the high school level, we will not be able to meet that. So after spring break, we will be looking at adding 15 minutes to the day, every day. By doing that, it will allow us not to have the extended school year. I will say with the caveat that we now only have 4 hours with the 15 minutes. So if February presents itself like it did in the past, we will have to explore other options. And I've been in communication with the staff here, as well as the KNEA president, Mr. DeRosa, because we may have to, a couple of options that we have is in Kansas, you can do up to 40 hours in remote. We haven't used any of those hours, and we're navigating like what that looks like and based off the guidelines. The other option is we have 2 days at the end of the semester that are early out days. We could add time to that. That'll give us about another half a day. But we also have on our academic calendar, if we run out of time there and we don't use the remote days, we could possibly be attending school after Memorial Days. We do have 4 days at the end of the year after Memorial Day. We will keep everybody up to date. We will explore and figure out what is the best option for all of our constituents. And it would be nice if we didn't have any more, but it's not yet February, so we're not sure where we'll land. We have a little more flexibility at the middle and elementary levels, but if February is like January, we will also have to look at options there. So I just wanted to share that with the board and everyone.
Does adding 15 minutes impact transportation, or is that 15 minutes the flex that you have that it won't impact transportation as far as buses?
So we, in the past, have added the 15 minutes, and then we work with transportation and we communicate it out. We typically do not start it until after spring break, because if you do it sooner and you have a snow day, it throws it all off. So we will communicate that out. In some ways it may, and in other ways, if it doesn't, we'll make sure we communicate it. But I'm not really sure. I would have to work with Mr. Martin on that. Board and everyone, I can't remember if we shared, just because we've been out for so many days, and the January 25th, which is this Thursday at 7:00 p.m., we have been invited, we being the staff, to present to the Unified Government Commissioners what is included in the bond proposal that will go forward on May 7th. Again, we're just presenting the information and answering any questions that may be present. I have reminded staff that as employees of the district, we cannot encourage people to vote yes or no. We can only say, please vote and present the facts. So that is what we will be doing first with the unified government. And as we are invited or reach out to share that information, I'll make sure that we update the board on beforehand where we're going. The unified government asked us to do this on this week just based off of their agenda moving forward. So we will adhere and be there Thursday at 7:00 p.m. to present. You heard a little bit earlier about kindergarten registration opening. It will be open, and just a reminder, to register for kindergarten, a student must be 5 years old by August 31st. This initial opening, they must live within the school boundaries, and then they will go to the elementary school of residence. Registration can be completed at District 500 on our website, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to any of our schools and they can direct you and support you. I will add the caveat, like, once we establish caps and know what our open enrollment numbers are, there will be a second process for families who are wanting to attend the district via open enrollment, according to whatever adjustments that may or may not be made at the legislative level. In case you missed it, we celebrated the completion of our classroom makeover at Carl B. Bruce. The student at Carl B. Bruce Middle School are on the case. Thanks to a $50,000 grant, a classroom at the school was transformed into a medical detectives lab. We've shared a lot of information over there. We were able to go over there with Next Extra, who provided the grant, and we also actually saw sheep brains that the students will be dissecting, and I'm kind of curious, but not really. So if you ever want to see that, if you reach out to the teacher, you could possibly see some live detective work and medical detective work when they're doing those things. The University of Kansas Gear Up program is hosting a Hispanic Family Financing College Day here at KCKPS Central Office on Saturday, January 27th from 10 to noon. Attendees will learn how to pay for college and how to complete the free application for federal student aid for those who are eligible. This is an event for 12th graders in Kansas City, Kansas public schools and their families. They do have specific nights for specific target groups. This is just the first one coming up. We'll continue to advertise those as they have them. We do have the FAFSA and family planning for all of our students, but this one is targeted for Hispanic Family Financing College Day. I just also want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude for Dr. Willick and all of those who put together and organized the World Cafe. We got lots of great feedback. We will be, if we haven't already, launching the Thought Exchange for individuals who could not be there so that they can give their feedback. And we look forward to compiling all that information and sharing it with the board, whatever information you didn't get live that night. And thank you to all the board members who were there. I think everybody came at some point, and we appreciate you taking that time out of your day. In conjunction with, I do want to take a moment to also send a special thank you to our bus drivers and our maintenance crews while we all navigate to deal with the weather. Those two departments are here late and early. Our bus drivers over the extreme cold came in on their days off to start the buses, to make sure the buses were running. And also our maintenance crew, while we were like all not on the ice yesterday, several of them were out making sure that the schools were prepared today. Everybody goes the extra mile, but they are asked to do a little extra, and they are up as early as 3 and 4 a.m., giving us updates on road conditions or what the schools look like. So I did want to just thank them because we've had 5 or 6 days in such a short period of time, so thank you. And finally, in conjunction with board appreciation, I do want to thank each and every one of you. Ms. Page, you dedicated over 30 years for teaching, and you continue to volunteer at Quindaro and do your community service through your sorority, so I just want to say thank you to you. Ms. Clark, I appreciate you being a part of the board and what you do in the community with the Diversity Council and with your church, and I appreciate all that you continue to do. Ms. Drew, also want to thank you for your 34 years as a teacher and the time that you devote to your church and volunteering in the community as well. Mr. Mylan, you're newly joining us, but we do thank you for becoming a part of us because we know that you have a full-time ministry that you are also responsible for. Mr. Lopez, we appreciate all that you do at Wyandotte County Health in your day job and also serving on the board. Ms. Russell, we want to thank you for your continued advocacy through your day job at Crosslines and also advocating for our families and our students and asking us to always take on the student perspective. And Dr. Nguyen, we want to thank you for all of your years of service as an educator at the Kansas City, Kansas Community College and for you always advocating for our students in this community as a state representative. So I do appreciate each and every one of you and what you do here and what you do outside of here to make our community better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Better every day.
Better every day.
Thank you, Dr. Stubblefield. Just a few items from me tonight. Again, I'll echo what Dr. Stubblefield said. Just thank you to all of our staff that continue to keep our district going, especially on those very cold and frigid days, to our drivers and our maintenance. Again, thank you very much. Want to say thank you to everybody who participated in the Martin Luther King ceremony last week. I was not able to attend, but heard it was a great turnout, and several board members were able to be there and district representatives. So thank you for all of those that could attend to commemorate a great man. On February 7th, I will be attending a Health Services Roundtable event just to hear a little bit more about some of the health services that we provide here and how we can continue to support our employees and our work as that continues to be elevated and lifted up as important. So looking forward to that conversation. Dr. Stubblefield, you mentioned about scholarships and just a couple of quick things. I do want to make sure to note, and I know our staff and especially at all the high schools are working with our seniors and our juniors who are eligible for FAFSA and for other scholarships, that there are changes to the FAFSA this year, and so want to make sure that we're mindful of how those changes impact all of our students and making sure that as students and families are going through that they make sure that they have the information that they need, particularly our undocumented students or families, mixed status families who are eligible for different scholarships and how we can continue to support them as they seek to continue their education. One way is through the Hispanic Development Fund, who were in our schools today and tomorrow and latter part of this week. They will be there and have been there to work with our high school seniors who are eligible for that scholarship, which is due on February 1st. So make sure you're not waiting till the last minute to get those scholarships in. It's a great support network. And again, board, thank you for, as we celebrate the board this month, thank you for your leadership, your guidance, your commitment, and your vision for this district. You all give a lot, and I'm very grateful to be part of such a great team who care and who work together to make sure that we're doing the best for our students. So thank you. I'll open the floor to any other board members. Oh, and I look forward to this weekend's NSBA Equity Conference or Symposium happening on Saturday that I'll be attending. I know several board members will be attending as well. We'll make sure that we have several good information to report back to this board and to our staff. It was a great symposium last year, so I'm definitely looking forward to the information this year. And thank you, board, for continuing to support that type of development.
I just wanted to say again, thank you to those involved, to our listening tour. We did a good job, but our goal is to continue to do better and try to figure out how do we get people there. Sometimes, and I was guilty of that as a teacher, oh, they didn't come. But there are so many factors affecting all of us that there may have been a reason why they couldn't come, the weather and some other factors. So how do we get, sometimes it's not us, them coming to us, we need to go to them. And that's something we got to figure out. And then my last comment is that Dr. King gave so much, and his son died today.
Right.
That we keep the King family in our prayers.
Right.
Because this is the second child that they've lost.
Well, I'll go ahead and say thank you for the opportunity to attend the Equity as well as the Advocacy Institute. Maybe, and Dr. Laurie, you're interested in this, maybe the federal delegation will try to ante up a little bit more of their 40% of special ed funding. Who knows? First, we've got to see them there. But congratulations to Carl Bruce for the $50,000. When the lobbyist told me about it, I thought, wow, and she's not that friendly toward public schools. And Wind is like, wow, technology? That's interesting. But nevertheless, congratulations to them. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Russell.
I don't have much to say, but go Chiefs.
I had a lot to say.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
And 40 million other people.
Any other board members? Okay.
We better
Looking
start
forward to that red snow day.
We have no time.
We
Not
gonna
this
figure
year.
it out.
All right, board, we are at our 10th agenda item, executive session. We can excuse staff who are not involved.
So staff, with the exception of Dr. Laurie, Dr. Campbell, Mr. Lilly, and Ms. Devon, are excused.
Thank you. We're going to entertain a motion that the board recess to executive session for consultation with the attorney on matters which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship under COMA for 10 minutes, going in at 7:16.
Can we have a little time to go to the restroom?
Absolutely, yeah, we can do that. So how about
7:25.
7:25, going in at 7:25 for 10 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark.
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew.
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez.
Andy Lopez, yes?
Robert Mylan Jr.
Robert Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page.
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Thank you. Board, we're going to take a quick picture as well in between now and when we start the executive session. Entertain a motion to return to open session, please. Moved by Ms. Russell, seconded by Ms. Drew. Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark. Yolanda Clark.
Yes.
Maxine Drew.
Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez.
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.
Yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page.
Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen. Thank you.
Thank you. Would now entertain a motion to recess to executive session to discuss superintendent's evaluation pursuant to a non-elected personnel exemption under COMA for 15 minutes going in at 7:37.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Drew, seconded by Ms. Russell. Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark.
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew.
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez.
Randy Lopez, yes.
Robert Mylan Jr.
Mylan Jr., yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page.
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to return to open session, please.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Smith?
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, board, that is all for tonight. Safe travels to everyone that's traveling this week, and this meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening.